whether it's, how do I say it? Well, we'll see whether the opinion counts or not. Well, so this is my experience doing animal physiology since the last a few years back. When I was given that topic this time, I have this very heavy feeling trying to figure out what is it that I need to teach the students, because animal physiology is very, very medical based, but kita punya student is very bioscience. So I was going around and around trying to figure out, banyak nak ajar budak ni all these things. So at the first time when I tried to do that, what I did was I followed a very good lecturer. She was actually a top anatomy lecturer from UCLA, but unfortunately I used the wrong examples, because she's an anatomist and she is teaching medical students, so everything is very, very theoretical. So in the end, kesian dekat budak-budak bioscience kita. So in the end, over the 5 years since I've teach animal physiology, I've been doing a lot of cuttings. So what you were seeing here is the evolution of how I cut things. So basically, this is my thoughts about what is it that we are trying to teach, or what is it that we wanted to have the student to have actually to achieve. Next. So basically, people have been telling us that you have to make sure that your students or their graduates are future ready. Well, that sounds great, but actually, what does it mean? Even in our small free group dengan Dr. Azman, we were debating about this very heavily, because none of us, well, actually for me especially, I don't actually understand it. Of course, in English it's pretty much clear supaya student boleh ready untuk bekerja. So like, yeah. So I mean, kita pun jadi student budak dulu, and then kita keluar, we somehow work, isn't it? So how is it any different then and now? So next. So this is what I found from Singapore Institute Technology. So what their definition is this: if you can look at those things that I bold in blue, it's actually graduates who knows that means they know the theory and who knows how and how to practice it. Again, we know about this, isn't it? And then what this says over here is that how you would prepare your student to know that and know how is to bring the real world problems into the classroom, whether that is through case-based learning, clinical practice, capstone project, hands-on project, all those sorts. But then again and again, we are hearing the same thing, and I'm pretty sure that everyone, I'm not sure it's actually anyone. Okay, if every one of us has tried doing that, I mean, we do bring problem-based learning to our classroom. But to me, myself, I was curious because it doesn't seem to work, at least for me. Next. And the problem is this. I realized that bioscience or biology is very theoretical. This is not as hands-on as engineering, because engineering, you can give them the basic at the first year, and then very quickly on, they have a lot of things that they can apply to. It's engineering, it's totally hands-on. So it's very different from biosciences. We started off with all the all the fundamental knowledge that we need together. We have to memorize a lot of things, and then our room to practice that is very limited to the lab that we have. And even so, the lab is actually only to enhance our understanding of the theory. It's not yet what's ever happening out there, just like engineering. So next. Oh, something is missing there. Can you go back? Okay. Go back. Okay. So this is what I've been thinking. So the theory, so for biosciences, yes, you still need the theory. And this is very, very important for the first year and the second year courses. That's where projects or possibly case-based learning is really not that ethical. It is okay. You are pardoned. To me, this is my opinion, you are pardoned if you do not use case-based learning for your first year and second year courses, to me. At least it's to me. Because I can see that those are the fundamentals here where they have to gather as many technicals or as many fundamental knowledge or the theory that they have to understand about sciences at that time. But then it is during the third and the fourth year's courses that many of us, or where we can focus on bringing those problem-based solution inside our teaching. So next one. So again, the outcome of learning, or the reason that we wanted to do learning, is this. So for the ability to learn is actually to ability to first identify a problem and then solve the problem. And this is what I've been trying to do in my classes. But what I've noticed is the students always have the same outcome, regardless of whether I break the class into smaller groups. They always come back with the same outcome, with the same result. And the outcome is always bookish. This means you can almost be like, there's no insight to it. There's no, they're not presenting their own opinion. There's no added value, what they're feeling about it. It's always what you can Google or whatever that you can find in the articles. Next. And this is where I find the problem is. It is because I myself, when I give them this problem, I always use journals. And because of that, the problem itself are very scientific. It's not that because of this, the student Googled it up. It's not just because of that. It's just because if you are using journals, obviously the answer will be about the same because it is scientific. So the reason I have been choosing science-based problem, which is doing journals from articles, is because I myself was scared that I would make any science mistakes. So that's one problem that I've identified. The second one is I did not explain to the student what is my expectation clearly to them. So I just assumed that they would understand what I want. Okay, next. So this is my plan for this semester. Wait, hold on. Don't shoot the gun just yet. Okay, so this is my plan for this coming semester. My plan is I'm going to reduce the aim to just these two statements. I will tell the student this. What I want out of them is a coherent writing and a logical solution. Next. And for that, I would introduce them with the theory first. So that will be my P level 1. So before this, a few years back, I would try to cram about 5 to 6 different organ systems and the anatomy to them, which is ridiculous because none of them will end up going to be an anatomist. So what I've done now is I cut down everything to only these 2 systems. I've been doing this for the last 3 to 4 semesters. So now these are the 2 systems that I'm going to focus on. Next. And what I would do to this is, instead of telling them as what it was given in the textbook, because all of our anatomy physiology textbooks are mostly for zoologists and mostly for medical doctors. So now, instead of doing as what the textbook was given, I would only introduce, explain, and discuss these 2 systems, being mindful on the theme of arthritis of aging population. This is the thing that I'm going to introduce starting next semester. By doing this, the lectures will not specifically say that I am teaching them about people having arthritis, but I'm going to tell them about this system so that in the end they understand why arthritis happens. So next one. And then the practice is, this is under PLO2, so they have to recognize the problem. In order for them to recognize the problem, I have to give them a scenario with problems. So this is the scenario that I'm going to give. An elderly living alone has limited movement due to arthritis. Medication only ease pain, but does not improve mobility. Then they have problem to manage him or herself at the kitchen, living room, bedroom, and toilet. So those, the keywords are arthritic, elderly person, and then activities in these 4 quarters, which is kitchen, living room, bedroom, and toilet. Next. So then they will do the practice again is to solve the problem. So this is under PLO 3 and 11. Those are 1, 2, 3. 4 PLOs under animal physiology. And here I will give a specific instruction, which is I want them to give me the solution in 2 types. One is a physiotherapy, and the other one is affordable design to aid self-management. And the assessment would be in 2 ways, written report and demonstration. I'm not really sure about peer assessment because all this will be done in groups. Each group will have different sets of quarters, living quarters. So you have one group doing kitchen, the other group with living room. So not really sure how best, what is the best way to do the assessment, because I want sort of them to compete with each other, because I believe what I can see is what I'm trying to prevent is for them to compete, to copy each other and to come out with the same solution. So under peer assessment, I'm still thinking about it. So next. So next again. So this is the general thing that I'm thinking for PLO1, because this is just only giving me the knowledge. So the test, the assessment for that is only on online test, and this is a speed test. So question will be limited to C1. Usually I would also give C2 as bonuses, because I try to segregate those who, there are a few students usually that are very on the other end of the spectrum, which is better than the rest of the group. And those are the better one usually can get really bored easily. So for them, I will have bonuses question, which is a little bit higher than C1. But I put them as bonuses because I do not want to punish the larger group who are not excellent. As long as they learn, that's fine. So if you are a little bit over the top, a little bit more pandai than the rest, then here's your bonus. So next. For PLO 3, 2, and 11, that will be used using, assessed using rubric. I'm thinking about written report using Eportfolio, because for last semester, I did a report using e-learning. And what I found is it is very limited choice. In the end, the only way that we can gather all their homework is through PDF. And I noticed that if there are people or students who are very creative, that they should be able to express themselves, will not be able to do that if they are only using PDF. So hopefully by using Eportfolio, those creative students can manipulate those Eportfolio thinking and make a better and creative report. And for this report, I will state very clearly, this is the 4 things that I want. I want them to be able to state the problem based on activity to the rooms, explain the problem based on the anatomy and physiology, explain how the suggestion, there will be 2 suggestions, physiotherapy and design, can solve the problem. And then because I'm also aware that students can actually find any answers from internet, so I would put references, trusted references, so that they do not plagiarize. Next. And final one is a demonstration. Here the keyword is logical, not scientific, because I believe students are a little bit scared to throw in their own opinion in case it was not scientifically sound, or in case they are going against the scientific world or what the science are saying. So in order for them to encourage them to give their opinion and input into this, my stress on this is logical and not scientific. So here in demonstration, I want them to be able to show us the physiotherapy and then show us the design. I mean, they don't really need to build a model. If they can, that is good, but we'll see. I'm thinking is if they can come up with a design, even if the design is already in the market, they can explain and demonstrate how the design is going to help. Last one. Final exam. We are only assessing these 2 points, PO1 and PO2 for final exams. I'm still thinking about whether I wanted to do an open book test or not. Because last semester for biology, I did an open book test, and this is what I found. Usually in all my classes, you at the end of the final exams, and after all, the dust has settled down and everything, the CR report has come out. The whole class, the mark distribution is always normal which is the dumbbell, which is fine. But you can see that the class is almost divided. There's a very, very top student who can almost identify who they are, and the majority, the bulk of them will be in the middle. So I was always this question, those people in the middle, what was your problem? What prevent them from doing any better? So what I learned from my open book exam last semester was this. Those students who are predominantly in the B and the C part of the graph can actually go better, even to closer to A. And what I found the problem is not that these students cannot learn. They can learn, they understand the question. It's just that they needed time to digest it and then to give the answer. So you have a whole spectrum of students who are very quick learners, who think very fastly, and then who can write eloquently. They can do all the exam within three hours, but there's a huge majority of them who has no problem with learning. The only problem is they needed time to sit down and think and answer. So this is why I'm still debating myself whether I still wanted to do an open book exam, because I realized that our students are very diverse. They are in the C, in the B is not because they are not brilliant. They are brilliant. It's just that they just need the time. Of course, there are people who are at the Chorot level, the C, and I will find that during that during that open book test, those in the C almost deserve it because they do not put the effort. They were given 5 days to answer the exam questions. The exam is 20 points, and yet they give me only 2 or 3 sentence answer. Clearly, they are not doing anything about it. So then they deserve the C. So you can actually segregate those who don't give a shoot about it, or those in the middle who are trying very, very hard that just needed time to do that. So you can actually see those different. Lastly, so basically what I try from here is that hopefully the plan that I'm planning for next semester will address these 3 things about future ready students. Is to help them with reasoning and decision making. All these 3 top things are projected for future ready students. We are at the point where or at least for me, I keep asking myself, why does my student need to know about animal physiology? So the answer is they don't have to. What they need is these 3 things. They can learn these 3 things wherever. It can be they can learn this if they are in social politics, if they are engineering. They can learn it anywhere. But since they are in bioscience, they have to learn this, gather all these skills through subjects in bioscience. So by putting that in my head, I'm telling myself, well, they can learn anything that they want. I don't have to worry about them not giving enough textbook information. What I need to focus is giving them the ability to do these three top things. Finally, I think I will not finally, there's another two more slides. Okay, so this is education as we know it when we were students. The choice then was this: you have to study. Kalau tak study, you tak jadi orang. So that was then. But now, next one, the current situation is a lot different. We are in a situation where education is, there are a certain organization that can offer better flexible education for the students, for the digital students right now. Unfortunately, we are in a situation where our students are very digital savvy. Because of that, they need flexibility in time. Some of the students need to work to be able to support themselves to study. Some of them have their own idea of what they want to study and what they want to become, because the outside situation right now is very fast-paced. So we have this situation. I've read online that Google is offering a seamless classroom, not only classroom, a seamless education where students can create their own education. So we are in a situation that we still give a 9 to 5 classroom, 24/7, 15 semesters with no flexibility. So for us to compete with that kind of organization, we have to come up with something, either interesting ways of teaching, like what Dr. Asman said just now, but also be very, very mindful that they would feel that when they finally came out of this, regardless of what degree they are holding, whether it is bioscience, industry, engineering, whatever, they are ready to do whatever that they want. So this is my thought on what is future ready students, but actually by saying that is future ready teachers as well. So that's it, Dr. Izzati, my sharing session for today. I think Dr. Izzati is gone.
Lupa. Alright, thank you so much, Dr. Saleha. Alright, so is there any questions from the audience? I think everyone can unmute your own mic, I think. So while waiting for questions from the audience, can I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
Right. So because I have never done this, but it's very interesting when you say you have done report using Eportfolio.
Oh, not yet. It is going to be this semester. That's the idea.
Okay. But do you have any idea how this can be conducted? Maybe some of us can use it for next semester as well.
Well,
so are you planning to use the Eportfolio by UTM ke ataupun macam mana?
I'm just going to use whatever that UTM gives. If I'm not mistaken, okay, what I'm trying to do that is Eportfolio is not part of a teaching tool. It is as part of a reporting tool. Because I understand each student has their own Eportfolio. So I was like thinking, okay, supposedly Eportfolio would be accessible to any future employers for the students, or at least a few months, isn't it, after they graduated. And having said that, they would not want to put some rubbish on their Eportfolio, kan? They want to impress their future employers. I said, okay, you're going to do the report and put it there. So if you're going to give me rubbish, you will not dare to put rubbish there for your future employers. So this is like a serampang dua mata lah. Dalam PDF kan, you will see all those sort things that students put. We just have teachers so far, we have to just take whatever that they dump to you. So this is me trying to figure out how to force the student not to just dump everything to me, but to give a little bit of thought to their work. Because I don't think they're very scared. I'm not actually scared. Dia macam, cikgu, nanti dia akan kasih markah juga, kan? Betul tak? So kalau they will not be doing that to their future employers. Oh shit, someone going to see this. So,
Cool. Cumanya, because I guess mesti you have been like trying to make them come out or write a good report, kan? Betul tak?
I tried that last year, last semester for virology. So what I did was for that semester, my stress on them is I want them to be able to write coherently. I do not want for both of my lectures courses, one of them both of them has assessment of communication skill. So I do not want to listen to their PowerPoint anymore because everyone can speak or they are better speaker than I am, but they are bad at writing. So like, you have no idea what they're trying to say. So for last semester, what I did was I give them a 2 parts, so they have to give me a draft and a comment on them, and then they have to make the correction and send the final one. And I've realized the biggest problem is it's like semua experience dia belajar bahasa Melayu karangan. Sekarang bahasa Melayu masuk SPM is the only place where we actually write very extensively kan. Logically kan, cikgu akan ajar you have to start with a kerangka first. You begin with what and then the second paragraph blah 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 blah. It's like they never gone through that. So I have to go back and then give them all the examples of how to write based on kerangka. In fact, last semester the specific theme was write an opinion. They cannot write an opinion. Right.
Of course.
Yeah. So I have to find a YouTube channel that is actually for budak-budak US sekolah rendah, how to write an opinion. So I give them that as a reference.
But I guess English writing is the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Faced by everyone.
Yeah.
And the kids especially. So that's why I'm saying you might have a better way on how to like push them maybe.
Pushing them better English?
Doesn't matter. Better English or at least because it's quite difficult to say write in a good English. I mean it's quite difficult to tell the kids you have to write in a good English, kan?
Yeah.
In any way, it's difficult. So maybe you have a better way to say this to the kids. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm just asking.
The only thing that I always say again and again for every of my students, each time for both classes, I tell them truthfully that I don't think they understand English. They thought they understand English because they've been listening people speaking English with them and they reply back English, but they do not understand what they read. So I will tell them the first thing that you have to do is you have to be able to write in Bahasa Melayu or in your mother tongue, be it in Mandarin, if you're Chinese, it's Malay, you have to be able to write in your mother tongue first, then only you translate it in English. If you cannot conjure any idea in your mother tongue, there's no way you can write anything in English. So I will always force the student to write first in Bahasa. Well, I'm the cikgu, I cannot read any other language other than Bahasa. So I said, you have to write in Bahasa. If that Bahasa pun tak faham, then it's not a problem of language. It's a problem that you do not have anything to think of. A few students managed to capture that idea. They try it, but many of them they don't believe it. So they're lost.
Which is obviously it's a tough thing to do, but you also mentioned that you did you asked them to come up with the first draft and then you check them first and then they have to submit the final draft, right? So which I guess must be very challenging to you, especially the time. It must be very time consuming, kan?
Yeah,
because
but
you have to do the draft and then send back to them.
But I'm sharing this class with another lecturer, dengan Dr. Zila. Dr. Zila is perfect. You can give her anything. So we divide the class into half, 50-50. It was challenging because you tend to feel like you need to correct all the language. So after a few trials, then I realized language is not my problem, it's your problem. But what I need to focus on is the logical thought. So in the end, I don't even look at the language. Buruk macam mana pun cakap suka kau lah. But at least you should have an logical thought. The first paragraph should be what. So I will always, so in the end, I will focus myself to, do I understand the title or not? If I understand the title, does the content reflect the title? And I will just go between these two. So I don't care whatever, how they write it, as long as those two link.
That's a good method sebenarnya. I think, I mean that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Supaya kita macam taklah stress sangat. Otherwise,
tak jadi kerja.
Bang our head. Okay. Anyway, so if there is any other questions from anyone else? No? Any last thing from Dr. Saleha? No?
I don't think so. So hopefully it's helped in any way.
Okay. So sekejap Fatah ada soalan?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Fatah boleh cakap ke?
Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Dengar Okay.
Dengar.
Dr. Saleha, I just want your opinion regarding the online tool. What is the online tool that you prefer during this online learning session?
What's up? Wow. Syarasi aku. I know there's a lot of online tools. Let's listen to what Dr. Shazwani is going to say, because I think she's going to talk about online tools. I've used several online tools, macam something about polls. I don't know what they call it. Polls, the standard one. Yeah, you can just Google it. Mentimeter, all those are free software. You don't even have to download it. But what I find about these online tools, because it might be my problem, because I tak tahu macam nak guna dia. The student enjoys answering it, using it, but only at that time. And then kan, bila kita tanya balik soalan tu dalam exam, they don't get it. So I cakap, what? Oh, masa aku buat benda ni. So in the end, I just, do you have any questions? WhatsApp me. So yeah, but I look forward to what Dr. Shazwani is going to share. Maybe she has a solution to this.
Okay.
Hi. Thank you, Fatah.
Okay, welcome.
Alright. No one else? Okay. Alright. I think that's all.
Okay.
We can end the session. Cuma tadi saya ada hantar the Google form untuk Dr. Saleha's session. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending this session. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. So we're gonna have another 3 talks tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And Dr. Faiza will be the moderator. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Saleha.
Bye. Thank you. See you guys.
Thank you.